Hey everyone, I hope all is well. It's time for the second unit that we got this week on the Ashura banner. It's Rain Warrior's Prayer. It's a prayer for better units, honestly, especially JP units. I could potentially close this review in one sentence, but we are giving every unit a fair chance. So let's get started. Rain, Warrior's Prayer, and I'm henceforth calling him only Rain because the rest is just too much effort, and Alam did not put in any effort into this unit. So, in his base form, his actual casting form, as is displayed, is just a copy pasta from Laswell. But yeah, I mean, that speaks volumes of the laziness the devs displayed. And yeah, he's a Dark SLB chainer, and funnily enough, the Beastbreaker Plus ability that is on display here, it is a carbon copy of Neo Vision Rain. The very first Rain from 2 years ago had the exact same ability. That's how lazy things are with JP units these days. Alum did not even care one bit to design a proper kit for this unit. So 100% Beast Killer, Physical Magic Killer, and 100% LB damage to the entire party. Cool stuff, that's 7-star territory. It was 2 years ago, but that was excused because Neo Visions were kinda new and I didn't want to power spike 7 stars that badly. 2 years later, this is not a 7-star unit anymore, and it shouldn't be here. It should be at least 150, but here we are. SLB units, in a nutshell, glorified 7-star units. So the whole kit of his is just a huge dumpster fire. He has no attack buff, so to speak, that is all on his limit burst. So his Grandis, even worse than a 7-star unit's Grandis. All it does is basically amp and fill LB gauge. Nice. I don't know who thought that a baseline 30x Mirror of Equity ability was cool. Yeah, it ignores defense by 50%, meaning this is a 60x physical damage ability, but still, I mean, 60x damage 2 years into Neo Vision for chaining? I mean, nobody uses chaining moves anymore outside Clash of Wills morale abilities, but come on, please put in some effort. And that's basically his whole kit. What you're seeing here, the 4 abilities on display, Mirror of Equity, Blade Blitz, Complete Awakening, and Black Longsword, in addition to the Beastbreaker Plus, that's all he has. There's nothing else in his kit. And truth be told, all 3 of most of these abilities are carbon copies from either Rain or Laswell. They didn't even put in any effort. It's the same ability IDs even. That's how lazy Alum was with this unit. So yeah, I mean, I guess the only upside is that all Rain needs to fully function is his STMR, because that one nets him 400 to double hand attack. He's also at 250 LB damage right away, so I guess that's something, right? Also, one thing to note is his Chain Master. Funnily, not called Chain Mastery. It's 200 out of 300 right away, so if you have the luxury to put in Progenitus Performer, that is Olivera's Timor, you can instantly Chain Accelerator cap him at 300%, which is cool. But he has 5x cap innately for chain damaging modifier. Nice. I guess that's the only real upside compared to the original Rain Neo Vision. Other than that, he's just as bad as the original Rain Neo Vision. Although the original Rain Neo Vision can be upgraded with crowns and thus performs technically better than this. Sorry, excuse for a Neo Vision unit. So the limit burst. Base form, or base limit burst, so to speak. That's where his attack buff is at. If it runs out, well, tough luck. It only lasts 3 turns, but if you have him at... funnily enough, his super limit burst activator is only 250 attack, if I'm not misremembering. I'm always wondering if it's actually 200% attack power for 250, but I believe it's 250. So in an ideal rotation, you would use his limit burst prior to using a super limit burst. And that's fine. You also have to do this regardless because that's the 30x modifier for his LB, which is very much needed because the super limit burst values are rather low, 300x general portion and a 60x portion for when he's fighting beasts. If you're not fighting a beast, say a dragon for example, this is just a 1x 26 hits chain. Cool stuff, bro. Yeah, it's not that good, right? Or 31x because you have that modifier. The only saving grace probably for Rain is his 135 Dark Imperil, but that is locked to a super limit burst, meaning you kinda have to fire off him first in a chain, otherwise nobody gets the 135 Dark Imperil other than he himself and the units that follow his attacks. So that's rather unfortunate. Like I said, his whole kit is a dumpster fire. I don't know what they thought was cool about the idea to put attack and LB damage buffs behind his base limit burst, when it easily could have been on his very lackluster Grandis. But that's Alum design. I stopped questioning Alum design a long time ago. So let's get to the only good part of Rain, the Ashura Rain, and that is the TMR and STMR basically. So the TMR clothes attacker units only, meaning units such as Sky, Esther, Wilk, Kaito, Lara, etc. Those units can wear this. It's a 3000 HP, 52 attack, 43 defense, 100% HP, and a 75 stone killer, physical and magical, which is really nice. This is hands down an STMR level TMR. It's absolutely crazy, really good. While the attack may be a little bit low, we have more than 80 on Sephiroth's code, but Sephiroth is a premium unit. We have the Clash of Wills close with 120, but in an ideal case, you could still use this and pick up the Clash helmet or the Clash ring to still get your 6x cap right away, because 75% stone killer, that's pretty good. The Super Trust Master is an accessory, also locked to attacker units only, which sports 7500 HP and 70 attack, so that's really good already. And it's 100% HP on top of things, with a 75% beast killer. It's physical magical too, but it requires you to wear a large sword or great sword or a katana, meaning units such as Esther or Kaido, they don't care, they wear those weapons innately. But for units such as Wilk, this is an issue because Wilk wants to use an axe or a fist, so it's kind of for him. But there's still plenty of units, Knights of Grandchildren also comes to mind, where this one works wonders. Also, Sky. Sky is gonna love this accessory. 7500 HP already is amazing for her super frail HP pool and defense pool. So that's good. Sky heavily benefits from this. And she is free to use whichever weapon she wants. Ideally, it's a spear, but we all used Sky with great swords or katanas in the past. Why not just do it again? Because this is a good weapon. Also sports 50% true double hand attack. Also requires the wearer to wear one. That's a very specific wording here. It requires to have the wearer use one large sword or katana, as if anybody wouldn't use a two-handed one. But alas, still amazing Super Trust Master. I love it, even though the HP kind of thing that JP is or was going for never really mattered, because bosses such as Death Machine, they overkilled you regardless. When something hits you for 500,000, whether you have 10,000, 1,000, 10 HP, it still overkills you. However, or that said, since I already made it work that Esther actually survived the huge attacks of Death Machine, so I guess at the end of the day, with global in mind, this actually does help. But from a JP's point of view, it really didn't matter at all. But global, different game. this is really good for us. And also we have Clash of Wills, where items such as this pay dividends. They really do, especially on frail units such as Sky. And then there's the vision card. A 110 attack vision card, which is already super outdated. 50% attack, 25 LB damage, laughable. And to add insult to injury, it's just 300 static attack for FFBE units only. I mean, there's plenty better cards out there. You will never use this, and I think it fits the theme of two bad units, Laswell and Rain, being on display there. The vision card also feels rather cheap, honestly, in terms of animation work. It fits the narrative of the whole unit, honestly. So, at the end of the day, STMR level TMR, superb STMR, that's it. That's pretty much all you need to know about Rain. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I could close out the whole thing with just this one sentence. But we still have the DPS calculations to go through, so pause the video as always if you want to read through all of this. Let's check out the build. When I did this, I vetted Rain against Aquatic Dragon because I thought, no way he can cap both. But turns out, we've come to a point where you can actually go from 0-0 to 300-300 to both with all the available items that we have. It's come that far. So I guess, yeah, it really is going to come down to how much more slot efficient units will get or become. So one thing to note, and that is also on display in my spreadsheet, you can find the link below the like button to it, is that the builder doesn't realize that Rain caps to double hand attack with just his STMR. So in the screenshot, or the calculation was done without Dragon Obliterating Katana. I used Black Submarine instead, which I believe is a materia. Where was it from? Was it from pulling on the Armory banner? I'm not quite sure anymore where I got this from, honestly. But whatever, with this one little change, we can make sure that he has actually 300 killers. The attack, on the other hand, I double checked with my own calculation. That's correct. So that's fine, that's good. And here's the damage comparison. So Rain, as expected, 440x or 381x. It's not the best. It's also with Sylvie on the team, but I didn't account for Sylvie's amplification. I also didn't account for Sylvie's 100% amp on Esther Wilk, etc, etc, etc. So that's just a standard 45% dark amp that he's sporting. And still, due to his low attack value, he has only 464 attack or base attack at EX plus 3. It's not really that much. So Rain sims at 62.75% of Wilk's damage on an ideal enemy type, meaning for Wilk that's Dragon, for Rain that's Beast. Furthermore, against non-ideal types, say Rain fights a Dragon, Wilk fights a Beast, none of them get the additional modifier boost from that first portion of the damage. And in that case, Rain sims at 60.66% of Wilk's damage. That's just basically the difference in how they work. So, yeah. What's more is that, like I mentioned, Rain will never be able to take full effect of Sylvie's amplification buff, because for one, his own amplification is just 30%, and if you average this out with Sylvie's 100% amp, that's just a 65% total amp. If you had, for whatever reason, a double amp of 45 and 100, that's a little bit better, but at the end of the day, units that are locked to one element, even if they can imbue another one, as long as their baseline amplification buff is really bad, such as Rain's with 30%, you're not gaining that much, sadly. So Rain, yeah, he's just an average guy, so to say. There's nothing really special about him, and that is reflected in the rating. He is just a 3 out of 10, with the good things being the 135 Dark Imperil, superb TMR and STMR. And for what it's worth, I also gave him 1 point for the okay-ish damage, because one of the criteria for DPS was that they are above 31%, and that is truly above 51% of the actual rank 1's damage being Welk here. But I probably am going to increase that value. So units such as Rain, because he will never end up using Rain. Technically speaking, he should be a 1 out of 10 because he will never see play. I probably should increase that bare minimum for that +1 in damage to be 75% or higher of the highest current unit, meaning for magic that'd be Angela, for physical that'd be Willock. Because I believe this reflects the rating the best, but then again I'd have to re-rate a lot of units, so it's rather hard to do, but I'll think about this, because I don't really feel like a 3 out of 10 is actually representative of the level of bad that Rain is. But with the current rating system, that's what he gets. So on the bad side of things, yeah, the no weapon peril, while it doesn't really put a negative onto him, it's still rather bad. I would have liked if he had a katana imperil, but so be it. His kit, as was very apparent, is really bad, with 7-star-esque killer buffs, or a killer buff because he only has one. He's got a trash tier vision card and absolutely lacks party support. So in total, or the result of all of that, is that Rain Warrior's Prayer has no purpose at all in the current meta, other than being fed your TMR and STMR moguls. Afterwards, you will bench him forever and never use that unit ever again unless he is a bonus unit for something else. Reason being, the DPS slots are occupied with real DPS, such as Angela, Knights of Grandchild, Esther, Wilk, and so on and so forth. And with that, we are done with this review. Like I mentioned, I could have ended this on one sentence. But every unit deserves a fair chance. Rain blew it. Here we are. Let's hope for better units next week, which we're not getting. So more disappointment is coming from a JP. I hope you guys are prepared for that, because both reviews next week will be on time, meaning Friday plus Saturday, as I have a week off from work to work on my thesis. So that's cool. I plan to finish my thesis very soon. 2 weeks from now, when you're watching this, I should be done if everything goes according to plan, which also means that all the content that I've been skipping so far is going to come back. And this will start with budget guides. I already started with budget guides again, so I hope you guys are enjoying this. But enough rambling. This video is longer than Rain deserves it to be, so thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. See you all on Thursday. Peace.